Compliments of the season and welcome to another edition of Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. I'm Anne Nwawadu. 2020, no doubt, was a challenging year for corporate organizations, but many of them still continued their corporate social responsibility initiatives to help develop the country. So today on Kaleidoscope, we do a review of the various sectors these organizations have impacted positively on, from education, health, entrepreneurship, to agriculture and infrastructure. Take a look.
Since 1994, we've been investing in providing schools, new schools for students. We've constructed over the years more than 400 schools in Nigeria. We've touched thousands of students on these schools, and it's just not the school itself. We provide the books, computers, the infrastructures inside the schools. So that's been happening over the last years. We also support universities. So recently I was in Ibadan with the Technical University of Medicine, and we provided them with materials for their education. And every year we have the Maltina Teacher of the Year, which is for me the best event that I attend, where we reward a community which many times doesn't get rewarded. It's the teachers. We praise the teachers, but many times we don't do enough to reward them. And we do with the Ministry of Education. We have a joint platform where we do the Maltina Teacher of the Year. This year is not going to be presential, obviously, for obvious reasons, but we've done digitally, and thousands of teachers, they appeal, and there's regional winners, there's state winners, and there's national winners who get rewards for them and their schools, but also the chance to go outside to Manchester, for instance, to study and develop themselves. So this is, for instance, a wonderful platform we do for education. We're really committed on education, and we will continue with that.
We believe very strongly that a healthy society definitely will create a progressive business. And through the GMOU model, we've been able to, working with the communities and government, carry out some extensive needs assessments. And the communities themselves under this model have built some cottage hospitals. One of them is a very prominent one in Bayelsa State, built by the Dodo River Regional Development Foundation. Was done by, of course, them, the leadership of that foundation under the GMOU model, built a cottage hospital in the Keremo local government. That hospital right now is about the only existing health service infrastructure in that part of the state, because it's very remote. Right in Delta State, the Egbebara Baramatu Central Development Foundation, that's also an organ of the communities within the GMOU model, have built 2 cottage hospitals in the Warri North and the Warri South area of southwest area of Delta State. One of them is the cottage hospital in Shekelewu, a remote community called Shekelewu, and another is in Oporaza. I'm sure you know Oporaza very well, close to Escravos terminal operations. We are currently working very closely with another cluster of communities in Ondo State, and they're building right now what is called the Mother and Child Center. That is currently at very advanced stage. It's focused mainly on women and children in that area. The Ondo State government is very much involved in that. In the past 10 years or so, we've built, working with our co-venturers in the Agbami field, we've built about 28 chest clinics across the country. And these chest clinics are helping to reduce the prevalence of TBs in some very vulnerable communities in different parts of the country. Sometime last year, I think 2019, the wife of the president, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Mohamedu Buhari, actually presented Chevron with an award, for the strides that the company has been making in dealing with TB issues, generally across the country. And it will interest you to note that of the 28 chest clinics that have been built, in the course of the outbreak of the COVID pandemic, a few of them were actually quickly converted as response centers for COVID pandemic treatment. And in the area of HIV/AIDS, sometime in between 2017 and 2019, went into a program where we had to deal with issues around antiretroviral medication access to many people who probably were not really getting that level of access to that. And that was as a result of the partnership that we went into with Global Funds, working with the Ministry of Health. At a point in time, Bayelsa State was known to have very high prevalence of HIV. And we worked closely with the Bayelsa State government and an organization called PACT through an intervention that we call PROMOTE, as the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS. Over a 5-year period, collaborating with other partners, we were able to bring down the prevalence rate of HIV in Bayelsa State, with over 60,000 women, reached, through tests.
Africa's economic development rests primarily in the hands of the private sector. That is, the private sector, through strategic investments that will in key sectors across Africa, that will transform Africa's economic landscape in order to bring about economic prosperity and social wealth. So in 2015, our founder launched the $100 million commitment from his family wealth to identify, mentor, train, and fund 10,000 African entrepreneurs across all 54 African countries. And I'm so proud to say that 1 out of every 3 beneficiaries are Nigerians. So to date, we have trained and funded 3,000 Nigerians across the length and breadth of Nigeria, with seed capital of $5,000, a mini MBA, as they like to call it, for our entrepreneurship training program, as well as mentoring from over 3,000 professionals across the globe. So it's quite an extensive entrepreneurship program. And the total investment so far for the entrepreneurship program alone is well over $50 million. And it's so great to know that out of that, $45 million has gone into the hands of young African entrepreneurs to help them build their businesses. And this is quite new in the development sector, because we truly believe that funding in the hands of African entrepreneurs is what will solve most of Africa's problems. So the foundation has been very committed to ensuring that Nigeria, particularly in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, is given the opportunity to catalyze growth across the country.
We've been working with thousands of farmers across the country, who we call small-scale farmers, to achieve a couple of things. One is we want to move these farmers from being small-scale subsistence farmers into proper commercialization. And to do that, we've supported them with a range of initiatives, everything from inputs, extension services, enabling them to access funding, insurance. What that does, and of course, we provide them with a stable market, which we negotiate once a year, and they are confident that everything they grow we shall buy at a good price. So far, we've turned over almost 27,000 small-scale farmers into the project that we're doing across the country. A year or 2 ago, we launched something we call, Growing Together. What that does is it has pushed us to buy almost everything we now use in our production process to be bought locally from Nigeria.
To improve this society, it has to be a collaborative effort. Government will play their part, the private sector will play their part, and then those who God has also blessed and given the resources to be able to add value should step up and do it. So we decided to take on road because we saw that road in a very dilapidated state, where a lot of trucks got stuck on that road. Poor farmers could not evacuate their farm produce just because it rained. It's something which we saw. So we decided to come in and do a 2-kilometer road in Idumujuboko in Delta State. We did that road with drains on both sides. So we did that road with 4 kilometers of drains. And today, I tell you, it is one project that has turned the fortune of that community around. Anytime you go there, the community people, they are so excited about having that road. Today, trips that used to take them 3 hours to make, they make under 5 minutes. We have a tank farm in Ijegun in Lagos State. This year alone, Rain Oil and other operators in Ijegun, we've committed more than 700 million naira developing a road infrastructure in Ijegun, and that development is an ongoing basis.
We hope private sectors key into infrastructural development as this connects supply chains across sectors. So our next segment begins with the environment. As we work towards reducing the effect of climate change, we'll also hear from CEOs of organizations taking community service, poverty eradication and sport development seriously in Nigeria.
One of the long-standing projects we have is what we call the Sterling Environmental Makeover, which was our approach to bring everybody together towards protecting the environment. And the way that works is all of us, including myself and sometimes members of our board, we visit some of the dirtiest marketplaces in the country, and we bring in the people in the market, we bring in people from government to contribute to cleaning it up, hoping that we create a culture of people keeping the environment clean. The bigger project has been supporting states towards providing input for them towards cleaning. We've provided over 100,000 cleaning uniforms for states. We are supporting 27 states right now. Our ambition is to support all the states in Nigeria. That has been useful because it makes it possible for the government to continue with its own ongoing cleaning project. We've also tried to do mindset projects that change the mindset. One of it is the recycling project, where we work with partners to recycle waste and use the proceeds to support people from, I guess, people who are in desperate need. And finally, we also had a recycler project where we try to convert waste to art. We do have a very interesting art installation at Muri Okunla Park now, which is the output of one of those competitions. So for us, we need engagement in environment. It's not just about putting money behind it, it's about getting the society to participate in it. Rather than dump the used batteries, we're working with partners to convert that into planting trees in our environment.
Being part of our community is a big deal for us. As a global company, we even have various initiatives that almost every entity in the Mondelez life, Mondelez business, would participate in. One example is what we call a Purpose Week, and the purpose is to support our communities. For that purpose, each team, so various functions in the company, finance, HR, commercial, sales, manufacturing, each team will pick what they want to support, and they're encouraged to go out and do whatever it is they want to do. In my former life as a finance director, for example, when I was in finance, my finance team went to it's like a home for children who are disadvantaged and challenged physically, and we spent the day there just before Christmas. We essentially cleaned up their rooms, cleaned up their entire facility, and then we gave to them, donated a lot of products to them, not just our own products, but things that we know they would need, diapers, toiletries, and so on and so forth. So that's one thing we do as a business. We also have what we call the Volunteer Week, where we volunteer again to support our communities. Again, employees are encouraged to do this. We make t-shirts for our employees. We go out as a team and we volunteer across our communities. Another thing that we do when we have, in the days when people can travel, today it's a bit difficult, but we would have visitors from our global companies. And we always make sure that when we have top-level visitors coming, they do some community service. We take them, we choose where we want them to go to, we take them there, and they would roll up their sleeves, wear t-shirts, get on their knees and scrub the floor. Just to set the example and the tone for the rest of the business that even if you're the CEO of Mondelez, you will still do this.
For all of the staff of Resta, we have a contribution to make financially every year to a purse and to a pool of funds that is put together to help the society. And what that does is that we pull these funds together to address issues that have to do with IDPs across the country. We have quite a number of them in the north right now. So when these funds are gathered, we buy loads of food items, etc. Even before the days of palliatives came, that has been on for many, many years. And when that is put together, these funds are used to buy all manner of materials that they might require. And when that is also done, we do borehole projects that are there to help them have access to potable water. And then some of the time also, we go to SOS villages to ensure that children whose parents are not alive or available, or children that have been abandoned by their parents, can also be attended to.
Sports is one tool through which you can actually impact the younger generation. Tennis is a game I'm particularly passionate about. I've played tennis since I was a kid. I follow tennis internationally. If you look at the top tennis players worldwide, I mean, look at Novak Djokovic, for example. Novak has won more than $150 million just in prize winnings alone. So tennis is one sport through which our young ones can make very decent living for themselves. So we have decided to play our own role, no matter how small, to support the young ones to take interest in tennis and earn very good, decent living for themselves. Over the last 10 years, we sponsor the Rain Oil annual tennis tournament. We are very passionate about tennis, helping developing tennis in Nigeria, where we bring in the best tennis players in Nigeria to come and compete and win very good sums. Over the years, we've also devoted very tidy sum in sponsoring the #1 tennis player in Nigeria. I mean, I remember there's a player called Sylvester Emmanuel that we gave a $90,000 scholarship to go play tennis in Barcelona in Spain. He was there for like 2 years. Currently, we're also looking at other potential prospects that we can support. 2 years ago, we engaged the best tennis player Nigeria has ever produced, a man called Nduka Udizo, or those who play tennis call him the Duke. I think he got to round 4 in Wimbledon sometime in the 80s. So we engaged him to work with us to try and make this what we call a challengers tournament. So you can attract high-ranking international tennis players. I believe that companies should take one sport and concentrate on it.
And what plans do corporate organizations have for the future? Find out when Kaleidoscope returns in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Kaleidoscope on Channels Television. According to Margaret Thatcher, if you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, then ask a woman. There's no limit to what we women can accomplish. Let's hear from organizations encouraging women to fly.
One of the most important things to remember when supporting women is the economic benefit this brings to the world. So I was one of 33 CEOs on the Business and Sustainable Development Commission, and one of the reports we produced was called Women Leading on the SDGs. And that's about how you cannot achieve the SDGs, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, unless you first achieve Goal 5, which is about female empowerment. And if you achieve Goal 5, McKinsey Research Institute has concluded that that will increase global GDP by $28 trillion. So this report that was compiled by the Commission was sent to a lot of top CEOs across the world and demonstrated to them that they could not maximize the return for their shareholders. They couldn't do their job properly unless they were investing in women, recruiting women, supporting women to stay in work, which means supporting husbands if they want to take time out of work, which is a controversial idea in Nigeria. And it also is about getting women back into work. And it spans the breadth of women working in corporate institutions, as well as those women entrepreneurs that are trying to raise funds for investment. If we do not have women's empowerment, women's equality in Nigeria, we cannot achieve national prosperity.
In Abuja, Transcorp Hilton Abuja, we run an initiative called the Business Empowerment Program for Women. It's such a delightful one. We take women from the communities who have never threaded a needle machine before. We use our old bed sheets, which ties back again to part of what we do for the environment. We use our old bed sheets, they use it to learn how to sew. Go through a period of 6 months, they learn how to sew, they learn how to manage a business, then they graduate. And when they graduate, they are also seeded with sewing machine and some support for them to go and set up their own sewing outfit. So we just don't stop in Abuja. in Transcorp Power Uyeli as well, we've taken that notion of empowerment to the community. And we have the Female Skill Empowerment Program, where we take women through vocational learning programs. So they learn a variety of things from hairdressing, clothing, a variety of things. They're taught and they go through this rigorous program where at the end, just as we do in Abuja, they also get some funds that they use to go on to set up. I say to the young women, believe that you can, and indeed you can. Have a vision of where you want to go to. Know that you have so much to offer. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you cannot. Don't sell yourself short. We're a unique being, specially created by God. Hey, He made man sleep so He could create us. He had plans for us right from the beginning. Now, our work as we're here on earth is to find the path to that plan and make it a reality. Remain committed, remain dedicated, invest in yourself.
It's a new year, and organizations have their CSR plans aimed at improving their sectors of interest. While some stick to their usual roadmap, others believe working together will bring about better development.
What drives us is the smiles we see on the children's faces when we see children who otherwise would not have had any means to have education. Walk up to you and say, this is the first time I'm experiencing learning in a fun environment. This is the first time I'm experiencing learning in a class not under the sky. When it rains, I'm no longer afraid of going to school, or I no longer have to leave school to go home. This is the first time you see the smiles on their faces when they see computers for the first time. We have a few stories that really warm our hearts when it comes to the work we do across the country. Over the next few years, what we would do is launch a grant for innovation around education technology, trying to improve teacher effectiveness, literacy and numeracy for children. We would also intensify our work on the private sector advisory group for the SDGs, where we lead on the basic education subcluster, galvanizing private sector actors to further collaborate in the basic education space.
We would also like to see a little bit more happening around planning for the future around new network technologies. So things like active network sharing. Myself and the other three main telcos, why would we all want to build sites in the same places? You often see it, 3-4 towers, all closely located. If we can change that and actually then share resources, a lot of work has been done already around tower sharing, which is one very good initiative, but the next thing is around active infrastructure sharing. So rather than me and the others all building networks in the same place, maybe I build it here, they build it there, and then we share. And that works the same with fiber and fiber rollouts as well.
Our purpose as a company is celebrating local flavors. And how is that possible if you're not a localized company? A localized company means you're creating thousands of jobs. Our agribusiness project, for example, as we speak, is already providing over 1,000 jobs. We have built 3 iconic factories. Number 1, our cubes factories. Our manufacturing lines for cubes in Nigeria are the fastest in the world. Not the fastest in Nigeria, not the fastest in Africa. I mean the fastest machines in the world. Hence, think about the efficiency and the power savings that we have in terms of our manufacturing footprint. Number 2, our mayonnaise factory that we built in a record 7 months has the largest mayonnaise manufacturing capacity in all of sub-Saharan Africa. Number 3, when our tomato project is in all 5 phases done, it'll be the single largest tomato project in all of sub-Saharan Africa. One of the big challenges we're trying to give to ourselves is how can we empower 60,000 farmers in the coming few years? Because you think about the tomato industry in Nigeria, anything between 180 to 220,000 farmers in that landscape, more or less. And if we can empower as much as 1/3 of them, and then we'll all be able to build what we call sustainable value chains in partnership with the local communities, in partnership with the CBN, in partnership with the government. And as a result, what we're going to see is the boomerang effect of the prosperity.
We consider that we're the face of Africa when you talk of financial services. And therefore, we rededicate ourselves to playing to world-class standards. Financial inclusion remains a major agenda for us. It is, interestingly, a major agenda for the government of Nigeria and the central bank. We continue to implement our young graduates program called the Graduate Trainee and the Management Trainee Program. The CIBN has recognized our focus on capacity building, particularly for the young graduates. We remain committed to our small and medium-scale entrepreneurs. They are the engine of growth. They create the employment that we so desire. Nigeria has every potential to become the export giant of Africa beyond crude oil. We remain committed to the welfare of our customers through our various services and CSR, and to our people through giving them a chance to get to the top.
As we go into the second phase of development of Ladol, we're all about building a platform to launch thousands of SMEs and local companies. 80% of the jobs that need to be created in the world will be created by SMEs. So over the next 5 years, we at Ladol will be focused on rolling out our master plan. That master plan will create a platform into which local companies can come and use the infrastructure and facilities we've built to grow their own stories.
And this is where we end today's edition of Kaleidoscope. We say well done to all those making a difference as we continue to encourage more organizations to key into the various sectors where the positive impact can be felt. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to watch past editions on youtube.com/channelsweb. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Stay safe.